Hi, welcome to my channel. If you're new, my name is Laurie. What I'm going to do today is create something for you, or at least a few of you. Listen to the end of the video and you might be one of the lucky ones I'm making this for. What I'm going to do today is sort of similar to what we did in the last video. I'm going to use the color generator again. This is the colors that it generated for me. I'm using colorpalettegenerator.com. in a browser on my phone. I don't have an app or anything. I have 2 pieces of printer paper out. All my brush cleaning goes off on the printer paper. We make shapes and then we have cutouts for later. I'm going to use these paint colors. This is as close as I could find in a timely fashion. I could spend all day looking, but we're not going to do that. So what I'm going to use today for this color palette is a folk art hydrangea, which I used in the last video. I'm going to use that for the first color. It's not quite as purpley as this one here, but I like it and I'm going to use it. The second one, we're going to use Lukas, and it is a robin egg. The third one, we're going to use Antique White by Delta Ceramcoat. The fourth one is Americana Vivid Violet. I think there's some in there. Yeah, a little bit. And the last one is Deco Art Purple Passion. This has a little more red tone to it than this one. If I find another paint that goes better with this one in a few seconds, I'll switch out, but probably I'm just going to stick with this. I'm going to use mixed media paper. This is 7 by 10. It's 98 pounds. I've got 3 sheets out. In the last video, I taped off my paper and I made different sections. I'm not going to tape. I'm going to go ahead and just cover the whole paper. I'm going to kind of try to pretend that I'm doing individual cards, like 4 per sheet. I have a few paintbrushes here. This one is the larger one. It's probably about a 1 inch, but it's very loose, soft bristles, and it holds a lot of water. So I'm going to use that because that's what I like to use to get lots of wet on the paper. And then these are just some round ones and a filbert, and I don't know if I'll use all of them. They're here on the side just in case. I have some water set to the side also, and I have a pencil, and what I'm going to do with the pencil, I'm going to kind of mark the lines of what I want to imagine will be the cards. They're not straight lines. They're just giving me an idea. So I'm going to start with the colors as they are in order on the color generator, but I probably won't stick to that. I don't know that I want to use the white in the order that it comes. We'll see. I'm going to wet my brush real well and just put some water out here on my paper, kind of like you would do if you're going to start with watercolors. I'm just going to put a little bit of paint on the paper. And I'm going to do the edges. I'm not going to worry about the lines. I'm just kind of going a general idea of where the lines are, just to give me an idea where the cards are going to be. And I'm going to do one with you, and then I'll do the other 2 off camera. First layer is down, and I'll be back when I have my other 2 sheets done. I'll show you the paper real quick. And they're just going to sit up here for a second and dry, and I have extra paint on my palette. I went ahead and got a plate because I was needing more paint than I wanted to keep squeezing out of the bottle, so I just put it on a plate. This is where I wipe my extra paint onto my printer paper and start making shapes and build our papers for future collaging. Because the cards are smaller, I'm going to make my shapes a little smaller. Next color I'm going to work on is the robin's egg, and I may not wet it down as much. This paper is not as heavy duty as the paper in the previous video that I did where we wet our paper a lot. This is a lot lighter paper, but it'll work out fine. I just don't think I want it as wet though from here on out. So I'm just gonna put color down. The next color on the list is the Antique White, but we're going to skip that and go right into the Vivid Violet because I just want to reserve that white-ish for more on top. The brush still has blue left in it, so it's going to blend a little, and that's okay. I'm not concerned about it at this point. See? Probably a little too much blue in there, but it'll work out. It's going to work out just fine. That's what you tell yourself when you're creating so that you have confidence to keep going. Keep going. Really like that color. So I'm going to do the same thing, and I had to get out a third sheet of printer paper because I had too much paint left over to put it all on the other two because I want to make sure I have room for all the colors. So I've got a third paper started here. I'm kind of cleaning my brush a little bit like this on the paper as I go, just a little bit. Don't be afraid to really doozy up your page. You're going to be layering, so it's not going to stay this way. It'll just add interest as you go along. So I've got splatters everywhere. Okay, clean off my little paper plate, making drop paper as we go, just multitasking all over the place here. All right, so the next color on the list is the Purple Passion. I did not change out the color. Like I said in the beginning of the video, if I found another color, I would use it. I did not change it, so we're gonna stick with this one. It's gonna put it in these little areas that are still open. And then just add some little streaks and interest, you know, here and there. Because once you cut these up, it'll change how they look. And I think I'll drop some splatters on here. Just a few here and there. And then I'll probably take these papers and I'm splattering my other papers. And once I'm through with this color, I'm probably going to do a little bit of drying because I don't want to add the white on top of this if it's wet. Oh, I wasn't going to do two papers with you. Y'all tricked me into doing two papers. One more thing. When you put paint on, if you want some runs, just put some water on your brush and then hold your paper up. Let that paint run. Let it do what it wants to do. Let it go wherever it wants to go. I want to put the white color, which is antique white, on the papers. And I was going to use a paintbrush and just kind of scribble, but I thought, no, I want to use my Versatalk marker for that. So what I want to do is a little stenciling on these papers with this color. And so I'm just using my palette paper because it gives me a flat surface to work on. And I have two little stencil-y things here that I cut out. They were circles I made for something, and I just use it as a stencil. And then these little leafy things. I think I'm going to use this one. It'll just be interesting in the background, I think. I'm just going to use a makeup sponge and dab some paint. I'll try it over here and see what it looks like. Oh, I like it. Look how interesting it just makes it look. So I'm going to do that all over my page. I'm going to go off the page also. So it looks like, you know, we're not trying to stay within the lines. And I have not reloaded my sponge. Still getting lots of good use out of the paint that's in the sponge. I like this. I might go ahead and use this little circle a few places. Yeah, just for fun. Don't neglect the edges of your page. Sometimes the edges get neglected and they just don't have much on there. I am very guilty of that. All right, here's my papers. I love them. I think they're beautiful. I think they're going to be really cute when we cut them up. I'm debating on using my Versatalk marker. I think I might try this on one of them. I'm just going to write words, not real small words because I don't want to fill up a lot of space with this. I like it. I'm going to do that with the other two. Hey, I have cut my papers. All I did was I turned them over, cut them in half, and then cut them in half again. So I got 4 out of each sheet. They're not cut perfectly because you know how it is in this art room. Nothing gets cut straight. But this is what they look like. So they're very cute, and I think they're going to turn out really nice once we get them finished. So I can't decide if I need to push any of this back yet or not. So in order to decide that, I need to finish these papers. what I want to do is take my papers and I'm going to use my Stabilo pencils and I'm going to start embellishing and color in some areas and just start doodling and just see what we come up with. Here's all the Stabilos that I'm going to use. These are the woodies. They're the thick ones. I really love playing with these. They're water soluble, so they will smear when you reactivate them with water or sealer, so you have to be very careful. I'm going to use a wet paintbrush, probably just a little round one right now, and just start adding in some color. I've got a lot of this color on here already, but I'm going to see if there's a big difference. Not really. Not a big difference, but we'll put some in here. I'm going to do some little drops. Oops. You never know where the drops are going to land, so it might be cool on your paper somewhere. So let's do another color. This one was just too similar. This is my favorite one. You can tell. I need to sharpen it. And now you can see this leaf has two colors. Whoop, there, two colors. And that makes it more interesting once it's cut out. Actually, this has 4 colors. It's got the green, the turquoise, purple, and the pink. My favorite way is to dip the pencil into the water and use it that way. I just love that. I'm taking a pencil, which I don't normally do until later on, and I'm going in little shapes here. And you might see it when I cut it out, you might not, but it adds a little interest. I like it. I'm going to start cutting out my shapes, but I thought I'd show you what they look like before I did that, because it's easier to see how the colors all look and the shapes are until I get a hold of them. And I just love this color palette. I think it's a very pretty color palette. I have all my shapes cut out, and I usually leave this type of thing whole because I never know if I'm going to use a whole section or just one little piece, so I just kind of leave that whole. I really love this. This is so cute to me. So that's what we have to work with. Now, I'm going to take my cards and I'm going to decide, do I need to put any gesso on these cards to help push back some of the areas? Maybe I will a little bit, because what I want to have happen is I don't want your eye to be overwhelmed by all that you see here. I don't care if you can see all of this. I want things to peek through, kind of like in these cards that we did. I put the white gesso on. You can see peeking through there some of the areas because the gesso's not completely opaque. The one I'm going to use is pretty transparent, and I just doubled up on some of the areas that I wanted really dark, but you can see through there. So I'm going to do my handy dandy gesso Artist Loft white acrylic and my palette knife. I'll just do one with you. I'm just going to go through and I'm going to haphazardly just put some gesso down. And that helps kind of alleviate some of that in your face. So, okay, just like that. That's the difference. Not a big difference. So when I go to put something on here, it stands out a little more. Plus all the doodling we do helps it stand out. So that's going to work out great. I finished adding all the gesso to my cards, and as you can see, they are toned down some, but you can still see things through the gesso. So we're not hiding too much. Now I want to go through, and I'm going to do most of this off camera because it's going to take me a little while, but I'm going to lay out all my cards in front of me, and then I'm going to go through all my pieces, and I'm going to start laying things down. I will come back once I have placement for all my little pieces. I wanted to give you a quick look at what I'm doing here. I don't know if you can see all of them, but this is most of them. I'm going to put the pieces down with Collage Page. I have one more card to do, so I thought I'd do it with you so you could see what I was doing. I am having a little bit of color running from my Woody Stabilos on this particular one. maybe because of the colors I use, the orange especially. So I have a paper towel sitting here, so if I get too much color when I'm spreading, instead of spreading it all over, I just wipe it off and then keep going. And this is just one of those jar opener grips. My neighbor goes off sometimes and I help water their plants when they're gone. And she brought back a gift, and in the gift bag she put one of these little jar gripper things for the kitchen. Well, I stole it and put it in my art room because, you know, I'm always needing something like that in the art room. And I have this one here, which does a really great job of opening jars. But this one's silicone, so I thought, oh, it'd be great for using when I need something that I don't want glue to stick to or something like that. So that's why I'm using that. And then I'll just run it in water and clean it up. And this has Stabilo, so it will probably pick up some of the color. If it does, I'll show you. Not much. This one didn't pick up much, so I can keep using. So let's put down the flower now. See the color? I don't know if you can see it in the camera. So I just wipe it off and then go back over. Okay. So all my cards have their elements glued down. So these are still drying, but I wanted to show you my next move was to cut off anything that's hanging over the edge. It's getting dark outside, so my dogs are coming to hibernate in here with me because they don't like thunderstorms. I think it's going to storm. We get a lot of storms lately. That's just so pretty. I am loving these. You know, the best part about these storms is I don't have to water my plants on the back deck. And I don't have to fill the bird baths. It's all done for me. My husband does all the bird bath stuff though, so he doesn't have to do that. So these have to dry before we can play, so probably what's going to happen, what time is it? 2:41. Probably what's going to happen is I won't do these till tomorrow because they really need to be dry for the Posca pens to work properly over them. And I am the world's worst at waiting for anything to dry, so I guess what I'll do is stop filming today and I'll play with something else until tomorrow, and then we'll finish these up. It's the next day and all my cards are dry. I have finished all of them except one. I'm going to finish this one with you guys. We're just going to do the doodling now, and I always usually start with the black. Sometimes I switch out depending on what it is, but we're just starting with black. I'm going to use Posca pen, and then I'm going to use white and just go around all my shapes and just doodle. And I'm not trying to follow the lines perfectly. I want the sketchy kind of lines. It just adds a lot of interest to me. That's just my preferred way. You may prefer to go along all the lines and bring everything out the exact shape, and that's perfectly fine. You can do it that way if you like. Okay, I want that to dry just a second. So while that's drying, I'm going to tell you guys, I had leftover pieces and I had to wait for these to dry. So I thought, why not? I'll just go ahead and make some tags. So I made some tags to go with these cards, and I'll tell you at the end what these cards are for. They have to be doodled on and finished drying, but there's a bunch of them over there. There'll be a short video about these, but if you've seen this video, you know exactly what I'm doing to the tags. All right, so now let's do the white. All right, I think I want a word on here. I don't know if it'll be something you can read or not, but I think I do want a word. I decided to do. I had this leftover stamp, and I thought, oh, this really goes with why these cards are being made. So I grabbed it and I was testing it out on here, and I really like the way it looks. So I took the stamp, I used StazOn ink, and I just stamped it on my paper. I used a lightweight paper to stamp it on. It's a drawing pad paper. I don't know what the weight is. Doesn't say the weight. It says heavy weight, but it's really not that heavy. I'm going to cut all these out into this kind of shape here, and I'm going to apply it to all my cards. Okay, I've changed my mind. I'm going to not put this on my cards. I am going to put it on the tags though. So it'll go on the tags in some direction. So all these are cut out and I'll put them on the tags. That'll be in the shorts video. So on these, I am taking my Arteza gel pen and I'm writing. Now I'm going to write on the card in the direction that I prefer the card. You can't read them, but I am writing notes. Could go this way, or they could even go this way. Writing is so scribbly that it doesn't matter. You can't really tell what it's supposed to do. So that's done, and you can put it that way if you like it that way. I kind of like this one this way. Okay, I have all my little notes written on my cards, and I have them the direction that I like them, and they can be changed, like I said. And I'm not covering the back. Let's go through all the little cards. I think they just turned out really cute. This one I wrote this way. It just seemed like it goes this way the best, but I do like it this way. Okay, now I'll tell you what I'm going to do with these. What I would like to do is send one of these cards to a few of you. If you would like your comment featured on my website, I'm still working on the website, but hopefully it'll be done within a few weeks. If you would like to be featured in the kind words section on my website, I will then go and choose a few of your comments. I will send you one of these cards that I made today. I'm going to stick a few more things in there. These tags that I've been working on because I had time to kill weren't planned, but I'm going to be putting one of those in the envelope as well. And this is one that's finished, and it just has the thank you on it like I talked about. So thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I will talk to you again soon. Have a great whatever it is, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.